Welcome back to TV Guide Network's in-depth look at the last days of the King of Pop. On Thursday, June 25th, shortly after noon, things seemed pretty quiet on this serene street in the Holmby Hills area of Los Angeles, California. But beyond these gates, a radically different story, as frantic attempts were being made to revive an unconscious Michael Jackson.
Emergency.
It's those few words that set in motion a chain of events that would shock the world. Just 12 hours before that 911 call was made, Michael Jackson had finished rehearsals at the Staples Center around 1 a.m. Thursday.
Well, the rehearsal was pretty amazing. He was in great shape.
He was in a really happy mood and singing and dancing and just had lots of energy.
From those accounts, no one could have ever imagined that Michael had just hours left to live. We have an exclusive first-hand account of exactly what went on inside the Jackson home that fateful morning. As Jackson's personal chef Kai Chase told us, Dr. Murray came running downstairs around 12:05 p.m. on Thursday.
He comes down the stairs and he starts screaming frantically, "Hurry, go get Prince. Get security." So at that point I drop everything and run into the den, which is not too far from the kitchen, and proceed to go get Prince, and Dr. Murray runs back upstairs. So at this point, me and the children are downstairs, and you can kind of feel that there was something very not right going on.
It's been reported that Dr. Murray found Michael barely breathing and tried to resuscitate him for 30 minutes before a call for help was made.
It's hard to understand why the Dr. Murray didn't call 911 right away, or why somebody in the house didn't.
At 12:21 p.m., a call to 911 was finally made by an unidentified male at Jackson's rented Holmby Hills mansion.
Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not. Okay. All right. Do you have him? Is he on the floor? Where's he at right now? He's on the bed, sir. He's on the bed. Okay, let's get him on the floor. Okay? Okay, let's get him down to the floor. I'm going to help you with CPR right now, okay?
That's the importance of having a professional firefighter as a dispatcher. He asked about where was the CPR being done, and they said it was on the bed. Well, it was our firefighter paramedic dispatcher that said, remove the patient from the bed onto the floor. So you can see before paramedics even arrived on scene, life-saving techniques were being implemented.
We're already on our way. Did anybody see him? Yes, we have a personal doctor here with him, sir. Oh, you have a doctor there? Yes, but he's not responding to anything. No, he's not responding to CPR or anything.
They go through a series of protocol questions so that the dispatcher can get as much information as possible to relay to the rescue ambulances.
Did anybody witness what happened? No, just the doctor, sir. The doctor's been the only one here. Okay, so the doctor see what happened? Doctor, did you see what happened, sir? Sir, you just, if you can please. We're on our way. I'm just passing these questions on to my paramedics while they're on the way there, sir. Thank you, sir. He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
Fire Station 71 in Bel Air moved into immediate action. The station, located less than a mile away from the Jackson house, traveled down Sunset Boulevard. It took them only 3 minutes and 17 seconds to get to the house, arriving at 12:24 p.m. The station dispatched an advanced emergency medical team of 4 certified paramedics plus 6 firefighters.
The scene, you had 4 paramedics, which would have been a normal assignment for someone suffering the same thing as Mr. Jackson was suffering. This was nothing out of the ordinary because he was a celebrity.
All of a sudden, we see paramedics, running up the stairs. We start panicking. Paris starts crying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." I start crying, the staff starts crying, and then we just kind of came together and we just start praying.
The paramedics were fully equipped with all the advanced life support systems, including a defibrillator. But what they weren't ready for was the fact that their patient was a huge celebrity. The paramedics didn't know it was Michael Jackson until they entered the home.
And obviously their emotions heighten when they know the patient or they know the celebrity of the patient. That makes it a little bit more intense, and they know that they just refer back to their training.
Paramedics spent around 42 minutes at Jackson's house trying to revive him.
The reason for that delay is that firefighters are in communication with the emergency hospitals, and they're doing everything possible to stabilize the patient using the tools and equipment that we have.
According to law enforcement officials, the upstairs of the mansion was a complete mess. In Michael Jackson's room, there were clothes and papers all over the place. And the word is, no one from the staff was allowed in his room.
A photo of Michael's deathbed was released by British paper News of the World, taken a day after Michael died. The picture shows a bedroom with an air pumping device and other medical equipment. That picture is reportedly the room where paramedics found Michael. And while they began working on him, the paparazzi began forming outside the mansion. Ben Ebenstad's agency, National Photo Group, was already at the house when the ambulance arrived because his photogs had been staking out Jackson's place every day.
The first indication we had that something was going on is the photographer that was on site called me around 12:30 and said an ambulance just went into the house. I got there about 10 minutes later, so about 12:40, and I called in 3 other photographers.
Paramedics spent over 40 minutes at the house until the decision came to transport Michael to UCLA for further treatment.
It was necessary for us to stay there for that amount of time to stabilize him. The hospital said, there's not more we can do in the field. Let's package Mr. Jackson and get him to the short drive to UCLA.
It was 1:06 p.m. when the ambulance pulled out of the Jackson home. They encountered masses of paparazzi waiting outside the gate.
The driver of the ambulance told me personally that as they were pulling out the street, paparazzi were running and putting their cameras up against the windows and snapping pictures.
As the paparazzi chased the ambulance up the street, a photographer pressed up against this window to get the last photo to show Michael's face.
Taking a flash picture through a window that has tint is difficult to do. You have to get the lens right up against the window and the flash right up against the window, so it can be a bit of a trick.
And Starline Tours, which has been giving tours of stars' homes for over 70 years, happened to be at the house at the exact same time the ambulance was pulling out of the gate. Lisa Staub was driving the bus that day when she saw the dramatic scene outside the Jackson home.
It was just a normal tour, nothing different, until we approached the front entrance of the rental property of Michael Jackson. We saw a fire engine parked, guarding the front entrance, the gate, and all of a sudden an EMT or a firefighter came out and told us to stop, and it was the ambulance, and it was leaving the front gates, and we had no idea who was in it, I'll be honest, but we were like, oh my gosh. And so at that moment we just stopped, we watched. The only thing that was being yelled, and I can't be certain if it was the security guard, they was like, hey man, he's not breathing, move out of the way. He's not breathing. We watched paparazzi jump all over the vehicle. Those guys were all over that ambulance. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden the ambulance took off, and as soon as they did, there was 3 or 4 paparazzi cars that just took off after the ambulance.
And the drama doesn't end there. What's about to come next will put Michael's family, friends, and fans from around the world in a state of shock and sadness. Still ahead, the mad rush to UCLA Medical Center. But was it already too late to save the King of Pop, while the Jackson family scrambles to get to Michael's bedside?
I saw the family in their rooms. There were hugs, there were tears.